Hi, everybody. It's Professor Levy once again. This time I'm going to show you how to prepare a memorandum. And I would like you to remember, once again, that there are three basic types of documents that are prepared in all business settings, regardless of what type of business it is. Businesses all work with letters, memorandums, and reports. Reports also known as manuscripts. And a memorandum is different from a letter in that a memorandum stays within the organization. It is an internal communication. A letter is an external communication, and its audience involves clients, patients, students, anything outside of the office. So internal communications are memorandums, and that's what I'm going to show you right now. First thing I'm going to do is start my screen share and just show you the sample memorandum. Here's a sample of a memorandum. Notice the way it is formatted. Once again, notice that we have the same kind of technique that was used for the letter. The basic setup is we start out with viewing the ruler. Make sure your ruler is checked there so that you can see what the margins are. The margins themselves are, as you can see, let's review how to look at margins. Layout, margins, and it would be Office 2003 default. That's the one that's checked. So you have a 6-inch line here. And what about the line spacing? You have single, 0, 0. So does everybody see that? So far, so good. One thing I have not pointed out to you on those previous videos that I made about the letters is that the preferred font size is a 12. So if you have room on your letter, you should have a 12 size rather than an 11. 11 is the default, but it's not effective. It's better to have it at 12 so that everybody can read it. Okay, good. So take a look here. The title memorandum, I'll show you how to do that when I show you how to actually prepare the exercise that you have to do. You can have the title memorandum here, or you don't have to have it. This is optional. But what you do have to do is see, I have something here that I don't need. This is not necessary. So I'm going to save that again. Over here, notice please, the memorandum differs from a letter because in the letter, remember, you have the date and then you have an inside address. Remember, Mr. and Mrs. David Wing, and it's got their address and where they live in California. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Wing. What do you not see on a memorandum? Number one, no inside address. And what else don't you see? Dear somebody, dear Mr. and Mrs. No, there's none of that. This is an internal communication. So we have here 2 in all caps, and then we hit the tab key twice, the tab key, so that the first line starts 1 inch over. I hit the enter key twice. I type from in all caps with a colon, and then I hit the tab key only once so that the person who is writing the letter, this is the sender of the memorandum. I didn't mean letter, memorandum. The sender of the memorandum, the name here starts at the same point as the place where the recipient's names start. We have here today's date and how to format a memorandum. That would be in all caps. And if you want to put that in bold, you can. You don't have to. Completely up to you. Here's a rule of format. After the subject line, there is a triple space. A triple space after the subject line. And that means you have to hit the enter key 3 times here. 1, 2, 3. And then you begin with blocked paragraphs. All right, blocked paragraphs. I will show you when I demonstrate what we're doing here. This memorandum has enumerated items, also known as, enumerated items would be numbered 1, 2, 3. Bulleted items have bullets. What else is commonly going on here? Notice, do you see sincerely yours anywhere? The answer is no. There is no sincerely yours because it's a memorandum. And do you see a signature line? No, no signature line because Professor Hughes, he's the one who wrote this this memorandum. His name is here. I happen to know he's a man, Charles Hughes. Just by seeing the C, you would not know whether he was a male or a female, but I just happen to know that. He was my professor of music at Hunter College. So I always bring his memory back. He was a wonderful professor, and there he is. Okay, good. Now, so does everybody see the format there? Why is there an enclosure here? Because something is enclosed, right? What does it say up here? It says, I have enclosed samples of properly formatted business letters and memorandum. See? Okay. So that's why we have an enclosure notice there. And this RLS, those are my initials, but you will place your initials. Make sure your initials are in lowercase. All right. I'm stopping the screen share now. And I'm going to bring up the actual memorandum exercise that you are going to be required to do as part of your work from chapter 2 of Word. So here's the exercise. What a thrill. So what are we going to do here? Let's take a look. Number 1, are the margins correct? Yes or no? Are the margins correct? The answer is no, they are not correct. We still have the default 1-inch margins, and I told you, what should the margins be for correspondence, if at all possible? 1.5, sorry, 1 1/4 or 1.5. Over here, we're going to go into layout, click on margins, and what should we do? We're going to have Office 2003 default, which changes that to 6 inches. Everybody see what I did? I hope so. Okay, good. So now I have the correct margins. How about the font size? Is the font size correct? Yes. How about this line spacing? What have we got in here? Let's just check it. What have we got? Well, I think it's okay, but we can check again. What should we have? We should have line spacing at single and 0 before and 0 after. All right, good. Now, what are we doing here? Do you remember there was a shortcut? If we do the shortcut, watch what happens. No spacing, remember? What happened? Well, it gives you automatically Calibri, and I had Times New Roman. So if I want Times New Roman, I'm going to have to change it back again. You can keep Calibri in there. And what happened when you use that shortcut? You do get the 11. I want 12. So you can use your shortcut, but remember, you still have to change it. If you want a different font, you have to change the font here, and you certainly have to change the size of the font. All right, so now things are not so awful. Let's take a look. How long do you think it's going to take me to reformat this document? Well, under 3 minutes. And it'll take you under 3 minutes too, after you know what you're doing. Remember, we had that word memorandum in here, so I'm just going to put it in at random. How do we center something? Well, you can choose the icon here, center, right? Or you can do Control E. I'm going to put caps lock down. I'm going to type the word memorandum, and I'm going to change the font size to something that looks attractive. I don't know, 20. That's more than enough. All right, good. Now, what do you do here? Do you remember? Tab. Okay. If you remember the sample, there's a double space in here between to and from. There is a double space. That just happens to be in the right space. What do I do now? Date. I can't leave the word current there. What do I do? Insert what? Actually, I'm going to type it as May, at a caps lock. May, and notice Word will give me the current date automatically. But if I didn't want to do that, what could I do? Insert date and time, which is roaming around here, remember? Date and time. Choose the third one from the top. That's the only correct one, even on a memorandum. All right, now, one blank line in there. We can leave that alone. How many blank lines are there after the subject line? Remember what I told you? 3 spaces, 2 blank lines. Now what? What do I do? I'm going to make this a little larger so we can all see what we're doing. Anyway, in my advancing age, I have to see a little more from what I may have used to have seen. Now, what do these P's mean? Nothing more than paragraphs, so get rid of them, okay? I'm just showing you where the paragraphs are. Can you find the second paragraph? Where does it go? Here, right? Get rid of the P. If on a test I don't give you the paragraphing, you have to put the paragraphing in. And there's no right or wrong way for that. Any more P's? Yes, there's one more down here. Okay. Now, I'm going to change the URS to my own initials. And you know what? I don't like this at all. I'm just going to put enclosures here. You don't need all this garbage. I'm dumping it. Bye. Because all I needed up here was to say, I have enclosed samples. We don't have to describe what the samples are. If you want to describe them, you can, but it's not essential. Maybe in some legal office settings, you'd have to. But at this point, I'm just dumping all that. Okay. Now, if you remember correctly, do I have all the paragraphs in? I think I did a good job. What do I have to do here? These have to be in bullets. Please note, when you are creating bullets, type the text first. I repeat, type the text first and then invoke the bullets. See how cute? I typed the text first, and now I'm going back here. Here are bullets. SimNet shows you how to do bullets. Here are the bullets. See? Bullets. I can choose any one of them. I can choose the check marks. I can choose the standard bullet. I can choose something a little more decorative. I can make up my own bullet if I wanted to do that. I don't know. I think what I'll do here is I'll put the check mark in. I like that better. Now, here's something you may not be aware of. Do you see that we indented here 1/4 of an inch? Guess what? You have to indent this side 1/4 of an inch also. I'll do that again. If you indent on one side, you have to indent on the other side. So right here with this right triangle here, the triangle that's at the extreme end, that is going to allow me to move over the same amount of space. I haven't been typing documents for the better part of 60 years without knowing these things. What I forgot about document formats, most of the textbook authors still don't know what I've forgotten about these things. There's nothing I don't know about document formats after 60 years. And there are very few people like me still left teaching. So I just want you to be aware of how important it is to know these document rules. We want everything on one page, correct? See how cute? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a file print preview. So I'm just going to say print. And the preview comes up, but I'm not going to ask it to print. I don't want to waste paper. But you see, I can see how beautiful that document is. And you see it's a memorandum. You know it's a memorandum immediately because you see to, from, date, and subject. You don't see inside address. You don't see dear Miss Specker. You don't see any of that stuff. No sincerely yours, no signature line, none of that. This is a beautifully formatted memorandum. So now, how do I save this memorandum? I hope you can see what I'm doing here. File, save as. Now, I think you'll know what's coming up. This is going into chapter 2 of Word. So I'm going to go into browse. I hope you can still see this. I hope so. Browse. When I click on browse, what happens? A picture of my computer comes up, correct? Now what I'm going to do is I go over to my place where I created that CIS folder that I already made a video about to show you how to do that. So here I am in the summer of CIS, summer of 23. There we go. Here's my CIS folder. I hope you can see this. What should I do now? Classwork. Now what? Word. Which one? Chapter 2. And I think the memorandum exercise, I think what I want to do is, this is going to be the memorandum exercise that I would have to send myself. Remember, there are how many documents due from chapter 2 of Word? 7. There are 7 documents, and this is one of them. So I still have 6 more to do, which I'm not going to do on video for you. You're going to do your homework. How many hours a week do you spend on this course? Between 4 and 6 hours minimum. Minimum. I hope that that's perfectly clear to you. A minimum of 4 to 6 hours per week on this course, if you expect to succeed. So here we are again. I'm not thrilled with what I see here. I'm going to fix that and save it once again. There it goes. And I'm very pleased with what my memorandum looks like. I will stop the screen share. So that's a little video on how to create a memorandum. You can refer to it all semester anytime you need it. You will have definitely to produce a memorandum for your practice midterm, which is the first 20 points of your midterm exam. So you have to know how to do a personal business letter, a business letter, and a memorandum, plus a manuscript with footnotes and page numbering. I have other videos on Brightspace that show you how to do that. All of that will be tested. And the midterm is not that far away. Life moves very quickly in this class. So I wish you lots of fun as you create not only this memorandum, but the other one from chapter 1 of Word. You have to go back to SimNet chapter 1. 1-3 is a memorandum, and you're going to send it with your work from chapter 2. Okay? So have a good time doing all of this work. The harder you work, the more you'll get out of this. It will pay you tremendous dividends in the future. I promise you that. So have a good rest of the day, whatever you happen to be doing, and I'll see you online. Bye now.